Right, so Jai Hind everyone, and welcome to Boots and Crampons. Today's Zoom call, which is on Everest Base Camp and Lobuche East climb. So, before I start, let me give a short introduction. I'm Romil, uh, and I'm part of this company called Boots and Crampons. We have done this climb multiple times, and the Everest Base Camp, we've lost count on the number of times we've been there. At times, we've done four batches back to back. So, in case you have any questions, feel absolutely free to ask. There's nothing like a silly doubt and all, and we highly encourage you to ask. Uh, After this, I don't think we'll have enough time to take another call. However, we recommend in case something strikes you after, let's say, after the call or any time after that, we are always available 24/7 for any questions whatsoever about the climb or anything, be it gear, be it training, clothing, whatever. So you can always ask. Uh, Having said that, this call also we have scheduled it for 1 hour. In case you feel you have more questions, we'll be happy to have it continue it subsequently as well. So please don't keep any questions to yourself, because we don't want you to start a climb with doubts in mind, right? So we'll be happy to answer whatever questions you have. This climb we'll have Everest Base Camp to start with. Once we're done with Everest Base Camp, then we'll go to a peak called Mount Lobuche, which is 6119 meters. That again, we have led it earlier. I've personally led Lobuche in 2019. All the people who go for Everest climb, they do as a pre-Everest Lobuche East climb, because it's not very technical. It's on the way to Everest Base Camp, and it's a doable peak for someone who has been to higher altitude earlier, right?
This
So
is
with
who?
this,
Romil uncle.
we'll go ahead.
Oh, sorry, sir.
No problem. Yeah, I hope I'm audible. There was some call which was coming. In case I'm not audible, please let me know. We can repeat it, whatever points are there. Apart from that, this session is also being recorded. So in case some of your friends have missed out, you can always refer back to it. I'll request Rachit to share the recording after the call gets over. Right. So coming on to the climb, 7th April is the time you're supposed. 7th April is the day you're supposed to reach Kathmandu. That is day one of the climb. On the website, if you go, you search for ABC and Lobuche East, and that is the itinerary which we're going to follow. Right. Ideally speaking, it's a 20-day itinerary, but on the mountains, anything is possible as regards
20 days.
unpredictability. I'll request you to keep on mute. In case you have questions, then you can unmute and ask, right? Thank you. So 7th April is the day you're supposed to reach Kathmandu. In case you feel there's some gear issue and you need to buy something, it's advisable you come a day early on 6th. I'm reaching on 6th, so I'll be happy to help you out in case of any last minute shopping which is there. However, it's recommended don't keep anything for shopping until unless it's absolutely necessary, right? Uh, on 7th April, once you reach Kathmandu, that is the day which is important because we'll have a complete gear check done on that day. So anything which we find is inadequate, you can either buy it or rent it in Kathmandu. Most important is don't leave your shoes for last day, because you need to break it into the shoe, and so that you don't have shoe bite and all once you start the climb. So shoes is one thing which we want you to purchase at the earliest if not done already. Other things, in case of jacket, gloves, or anything whatsoever, we can always buy, because then there's no problem of getting used to that. So other things we'll be able to check on day one, on 7th of April, and then rest of the things, in case any shopping and all last minute is there, we'll be able to do it, right? So 7th April, once we
Um,
reach,
Romil,
yeah,
one
please.
question. So, do you have the gear list on your website or anywhere? Just a generalized gear list.
Yeah, it's there on the Everest Base Camp page. You can have a look.
Okay.
And in case you still don't find it, you let us know. We'll share it
Sure.
again. I'll also
Yeah.
run through what all you'll need so that you can have a check
Okay.
again, right?
Sure. Sure.
So the gear list I'll run through, right? So seventh, once we reach, we'll have a team introduction and gear check. Once that is done, then we'll pack it up early because eighth morning we plan to fly out to Lukla. Point to note is that as per the latest policy which is in vogue in Kathmandu or in Nepal, is that no flights are taking off from Kathmandu to Lukla. Generally, they take off from a place called Ramechhap, which is about 3 to 4 hours of drive from Kathmandu. So early morning 8th, we should be moving from Kathmandu to Ramechhap and then take a flight from Ramechhap to Lukla. Kathmandu is at a lower altitude, close to 1400 meters, so there's no high altitude. You won't have any issues. For people flying out from US to Kathmandu, if you feel you'll have issues with jet lag, ideally you should set your body clock accordingly. But to cut down on the fatigue, it's requested that you come on 6th. In case you're reaching on 6th, please let us know if you want us to make the hotel arrangements. We can do in the same place wherein we'll be staying on 7th, right? So that can be handled. If you're coming on 7th, then same after spending the night, 8th morning, we'll start from Kathmandu to Ramechhap. Ramechhap, we take a flight. From 1300 meters of Kathmandu, we reach a place, Lukla, which is at 2800 meters, which is kind of a good altitude. And that is the place where we land and then we start trekking towards a place called Phagding. We go to Phagding because it's at a lower altitude, which is 2600 meters, and that's why the altitude difference is not much and body adjusts in a better way. That's why we go to Phagding. Before we start, we need to make sure that we whatever items which we don't require for the trek, we can leave it in Kathmandu hotel itself. So one bag we'll go to leave at Kathmandu hotel. One bag is the bag which is going to be with the porters, and one bag we are going to carry as a day pack. Right, so three different set of bags we'll be having once we start our move from Kathmandu.
Can I just interrupt?
Please go ahead.
How long is the flight from Ramechhap to Lukla?
It's about 30 to 35 minutes.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks.
So it's a short flight. If the weather is clear, we get an early morning flight. Generally, the weather has been, because of global warming and other issues, it's getting unpredictable. So at times it gets delayed and at times it gets cancelled also. There have been instances. So mountains, be prepared for all kind of surprises. We prepared for 100 contingencies, but every time we come out with some new situation. So keep your mind at peace. Make sure that whatever situation happens, the team is capable enough to handle everything. So have trust in the team leader and the team will be able to handle everything. Right.
So one question I had
Please.
from a temperature perspective, roughly what should we expect in terms of acclimatization? Like, is it
Right. So once you are in
50,
Kathmandu, it's please.
So in terms of Celsius, is it like 20 degrees or 15 degrees?
See, once you're in Kathmandu, considering it's the beginning of April, you can expect temperatures wherein in Kathmandu, a t-shirt would work. You don't need any fleece or anything. But the moment you land in Lukla in the flight, you'll need a fleece. So all these aspects I'll cover once we are there on
Okay.
7th, that what should be carried in your day pack so that you don't have to open your big duffel bag once you reach in Lukla. So your trek poles, your day pack, what should be the content of the day pack, how much of water to be carried. All these aspects on daily basis we'll cover a day prior. Let's say today evening during dinner time, we'll brief you that next day this kind of temperature, these are the kind of villages you need to watch out for, and this is the kind of route. So all that briefing will be done a day prior for the next day.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. For Lukla, you'll need a fleece jacket. You'll need your trek poles and all once you land, right? So that we'll cover subsequently once we are there on the trek. But as regards the climb is concerned, the final day we always prepare in mountains for the worst case scenario. So make sure your gear and all for Everest Base Camp is able to handle -15 or -20 kind of temperatures. It will be that cold. So your down jacket, your gloves, your woolen cap and all should be able to handle that kind of weather conditions. right? So once you reach Farting on day 2, then we go to day 3. We go to a place called Namche. It's an elevation gain from 2600 meters to 3400 meters. Now, anything more than 3000 meters is considered high altitude in mountain, right? So, and then a good elevation gain of 800 meters demands that we spend one more night in Namche. So, in Namche, that's why we have 2 nights. The first night, once we reach Namche, and second day is the acclimatization climb, wherein we go to a place called Everest Base Hotel, which is close to 3850 meters, and then we come down back to Namche. Right. Day 5, we go from Namche to Debuche, which is 3800 meters. Next day, we go from Debuche to Dingboche, which is 4400 meters. Dingboche, again, you cross 4400 meters, so you spend one more night there. So next day, day 7, we go on acclimatization climb to Nangarshang Peak. That will be your first summit, right? 5066 meters. Then we go from Dingboche to Lobuche, which is 4900 meters. Day 9, you go to Gorakshep, and then go to Everest Base Camp, and then you come back to Gorakshep. Right. I'll request to keep on mute, uh, Anuja ma'am. Let me mute otherwise. Just one sec. Yeah, fine. Right. So, Nangarshan is the first summit, as I was mentioning. Day 8 is Lobuche, Lobuche village. Day 9, you go to Everest Base Camp and back to Gorakshep. Day 10 is Kalapathar, which is the highest point in the whole trek part, and that's mandatory for acclimatization before you go to Lobuche. Day 11, the team which is going to Lobuche climb comes to Lobuche and then spends the day there. Other team members, they come to Feriche or Dingboche, and then they come to Namche and then back to Lukla, and next they fly out to back to Kathmandu. This was the ABC part. Now, those people who doing Lobuche East, after doing Kalapathar, they come to Lobuche, and then next day they go from Lobuche to Lobuche Base Camp, which is 5000 meters. Next day to Summit Camp, and same night Summit Push. Day 14 is buffer day, and then day 15 is Dingboche, Namche, Lukla. Then again a buffer day, and then day 20 is the flyout in case of people who are doing Everest Base Camp, Kalapathar, Nangarshang, and Lobuche East. Right. So this is in general about the itinerary which we mentioned. Point to note, the luggage which people have to carry is on the flight. There is a restriction which is 10 kgs in your duffel bag and 5 kgs in your day pack or your handbag. So we'll provide a duffel bag once you reach Kathmandu so that you can keep all the stuff there. The porters or the yaks are going to carry the stuff for you, and the day pack is the one which you are going to carry. Generally, a day pack would have your rain gear, your fleece jacket, as you climb higher, maybe your gloves and woolen cap, some snacks, and that's about it. Right? And rest of the stuff goes to your duffel bag. So what happens is every day morning, generally what we follow is 6, 7, 8. You wake up at 6, 7 o'clock, you'll have breakfast. 8 o'clock, you start the trek. And once you come for breakfast, you're supposed to hand over your duffel bag to the porters. And these porters will carry the duffel bag and leave it at the place where you'll be staying for the night. And that's where once you reach the tea house, you get the duffel bag available with you. Right. Apart from that, yeah. Once you reach Kathmandu airport, in case you want to stay connected back home, you can take a local SIM. There are two major companies. One is NTC, the other one is Ncell. Right. And once you show your passport, they'll be able to give you the SIM card based on that. Right. There's something else. Yeah, so they once you are there, they only accept this one 100 rupee notes, Indian currency, in case you're using at the airport. Otherwise, you'll have to get the conversion done. The conversion rate in the airport is generally 1 is to 1.4. For 1 rupee Indian rupee, you get 1 rupees 40 paisa of Nepali currency. However, in the market, you get 1 rupee 50 paisa or something. Uh, so that is the rate in there. In Kathmandu and during the trek, they don't accept Indian currency. Earlier they used to do it, but however, they don't accept anything now. They don't even accept 500 rupee notes nowadays. So make sure you're carrying, in case you're carrying Indian currency, it's a 100 rupee note or a 200 rupee note, right? Uh, Visa for Indians is not required. So you need to have only your passport or you need to have a voter ID. Aadhaar card is not acceptable. So don't take your Aadhaar card and then, the airport authorities, they don't allow. So either it has to be a voter ID or it has to be a passport. Only these two things are accepted. For non-Indian passport holders, you can get visa on arrival once you land at Kathmandu airport. There'll be a queue. You ask for visa on arrival and you'll get it. There are different packages. One is a 15-day thing and other one is a 30-day visa. So depending on what your comfort level or you want to spend more time, you can do that. Most of the time you'll have your data NTC or NCell available once you're on the trek. Otherwise, at every location there is a facility of Wi-Fi. Need to note is that everything is on payment there. If you want uh, Wi-Fi network or you want to get your phone recharged or battery bank charging, there is a cost for everything, and it keeps increasing as you climb higher. So that needs to be kept in mind, and they only accept and the Nepalese currency. So that again need to know. Acclimatization, there are two acclimatization days on the climb. One is in Namche, other one is in Dengoche. Once we are in Namche, we go to Everest View Hotel. Once we are in Dengoche, we climb to a peak called Nangarsham.
Romal, sir, one or two
Yeah, please.
questions very quickly. So you said on the climb they do not accept the Indian currency, but they accept 100 and 200. So can we bring that on the trek, or because if we want to eat something in Namche Bazaar, say for example, then what currency would we be using there?
So that you need to convert into Nepalese currency once you
Okay.
are in Kathmandu.
Okay. And in
So there are a
Kathmandu,
lot of currency exchange.
Okay, and in Kathmandu currency exchange, they will only take 100 and 200.
Yeah, they might take 500, but don't take chances. Generally, they'll have hesitation taking 500 rupee note. So it's better if you have a 200 rupee currency
Fair enough.
for
Fair enough.
currency
And so we
exchange.
can exchange that in Kathmandu for the trek.
Yeah, you're
Secondly, sir,
right.
you said passport or election card. So if we bring a passport, can we park that at the hotel and it'll be safe there
Yes.
like we did that in Kilimanjaro? We were able to leave it at the hotel.
Yes, same. So what you do is rest of the stuff you can keep it in the store, but
Yes.
passport and all you can give it separately, and they'll keep it in lock and key.
Perfect. And lastly, sir, for the you said that we should be carrying gear that could be should be for about -15. So everything we took for the Kili summit, is that the kind of layering or the same kind of gear that we can bring out here as well, or does
Yeah,
it?
safe to say that whatever you used for Kilimanjaro summit will work for EBC Kalapathar.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Welcome, Meghna.
Hi,
Okay, coming
Romal,
on to
Raghav here.
Yep. Hi,
Just two
Raghav.
questions. Hi. One is for people who are doing Lobuche versus EBC, how many extra nights? Because my family will be down before me because I'm doing Lobuche East. So I just want to know
Right.
how many days they should plan for the hotel. We might request that from you. That was number
Right.
one. For people who are doing Lobuche East, will we still get tea houses or there are tent stays as well?
Good question. So, coming on the first part, so our standard EBC itinerary only for the EBC is 15 days. In this case, we have a 20-day itinerary, which includes, sufficient about 3 buffer days. So that's why we have given day 20 as the flyback from Kathmandu for people doing Lobuche. So 4 to 5 days extra, but then it depends, you understand how unpredictable things get on the mountain. So
Yeah.
safe to say, day 20 is the fly out from Kathmandu in case people are doing Lobuche. That's the worst case scenario.
Okay.
Right. Second part was, what was the second one?
Tea house versus tent.
Yeah, so till Lobuche, once you finish the Everest Base Camp and come to Lobuche village, it's all tea houses. The last 2 days are once you are at the base camp as well as the high camp is the tent. Rest everything is for this thing tea houses.
Okay, thank you.
So,
You're welcome.
is it mandatory that we have to do EBC if we, or is it, can we do only Lobuche East? Roman?
See, yeah. So the thing is, the acclimatization really suffers if you're doing only the Lobuche East. Earlier, also we have had experience wherein people suffered. So it's highly recommended you do the EBC and Lobuche both. However, in case you still feel that time constraints and all are there, then we'll give you the Sherpas and you'll have to do the Lobuche East in that case, because we'll be going with the team which is going both EBC and then Lobuche East.
Okay.
Uh, Romil, one question. So
Please.
we'll be hitting EBC before we go to Lobuche, correct?
For the Lobuche East Summit, yes.
Okay. So first EBC, because okay, for people just doing EBC, they'll do EBC and then they'll make their way back to,
Correct. So
right?
everyone does ABC together. On a
Uh-huh.
way back, the people who are doing Lobuche East, they stop at Lobuche village, spend the night there, and rest of the team they cross Lobuche village and then they come back and stay either in Fariche or Dingboche. So till that point, everyone is together.
Thank you. Yep.
You're welcome.
Romil, you just mentioned that people who want to do only Lobuche, you will send the Sherpas with them,
Right.
but your team will proceed to EBC and then do Lobuche. So that means that none of them from your team will be available with the people who just want to do Lobuche, correct?
Correct. So the Sherpas are again our team, and these are the Sherpas who've been there with us for long. But
But
yeah, I mean, as a team leader, I won't be there or Bharat won't be there with the team.
okay, got it. Yeah, so nobody from Boots and Crampons. It'll just be the Sherpas from local Sherpas, right? Like just the
Correct.
nearby
But these
nearby.
Sherpas are again part of Boots and Crampons. I mean, they've been with us for last 5, 6 years climbing, and these are the Sherpas who will be there with the Everest climb as well. So
Okay,
these are the ones who have been with us earlier.
okay, okay.
Any other questions before I come to the gear part? Okay, so coming on to the gear. First, EBC for Everest Base Camp, you'll have good trekking shoes. Make sure that the shoes which you're going to use for the Everest Base Camp, you've been training in that, because it should not be that 2 years back you bought them new, did a trek, and last 2 years they've been in the cupboard. Because generally we've seen that the sole and the upper part they just come out. So make sure that's not the case, and your shoes are in good condition, because it's again the most important part. In case you are yet to buy, make sure you buy shoes which are waterproof. They are at least your ankle is gets covered, mid ankle and all, and those are in good shape, right? Apart from shoes, the socks again, these have to be good warm, because generally the problem in cold is either the toes or the fingertips, right? So these two things have to be really warm once you're climbing. uh, Coming on to the lower body, you'll need thermals. You'll need good warm trousers for the Kala Patthar as well as for the base camp. In the upper body, you'll need thermals, fleece, and a good down jacket. You'll need double gloves. One will be a good warm liner, preferably a merino, thin liner, and a proper gloves, which is again waterproof and warm. Uh, on the head, you will have good warm cap, good goggles mm, for the climb, a good headlight with a spare battery, a good backpack which is rainproof as well as with the rain cover, because mountains again snowfall, rainfall can happen anytime. Uh, uh, at least two water bottles. Most important, the water bottles have to be with filter, right? Because most of the problems regarding the health issues come because of water. The water there is not uh, clean. You don't have RO and all systems there, so you need to have filtered water bottle. In case required, I'll request Rachit to share the link. You can buy, there are multiple brands with filtered water bottle. That's absolutely mandatory, right? We don't want people falling sick there once you're on the climb. So 2 water bottles and 1 thermos is mandatory. Uh, what else? Headlights, spare battery, goggles, sun cap and all. Up to you. Same is moisturizer, sunscreen and all. Keep that handy. A good rain jacket, windproof jacket, something to protect you from the elements. This is as regards the Everest Base Camp is concerned. As I mentioned earlier, again -15 to -20 kind of temperatures. Be prepared. Uh, Coming on to Lobuche, you need crampons, you'll need climbing boots, you'll need good warm socks. Uh, Upper lower remains same. It's just that the quality becomes much warmer. In case you are wearing the powered glasses, you should have ski goggles to cover that. What else? You'll need a harness, jumar, carabiner, along with the sling for the climb, a helmet. You'll need sleeping bag. Yeah. You'll need mattress. Mm, So in case people not having any of these items as regards Lobuche, everything is available on rent, and so that's not a problem. Uh, Anything? Yeah.
So, Romil, these are things that
Yeah, please.
you won't be providing. We should rent it out, is it?
Yeah, that's right. For Lobuche climb, you need to rent all these things out. In case you have, you bring it, but then generally people have it once they're climbing big. We can help you in rental and all because it's a popular climb and people, there are a lot of places wherein you can rent it out. But yeah,
Okay.
as you mentioned, we don't provide these items.
Okay. But these are things that we need in Leh also, isn't it? So there also you rent it out or you provide it
No,
in
Leh
Leh?
may we provide. In India, we provide. In
Ah,
Himachal, it's part
okay.
of the plan.
Oh,
Leh
okay,
again,
okay.
it's part of the plan. But then outside India, it's difficult to have those things kept. So that's why it's available only
Okay.
on the rental.
Okay.
What
Hi,
else?
I have a couple of questions.
Yeah, ma'am, please go ahead.
Okay. Firstly, how much money should one carry along?
Generally, we would say between 20 to 25K Indian would be enough. It depends, how much you spend and all. Because uh, frankly, on EBC, there's a lot of scope. Be it Namche, be it, there are good cafeterias, good places for souvenirs or something you want to buy, you can do that. Similarly, in case you want to, let's say in places like Namche and Dingboche, where you're staying for long, I mean, you're staying for one more day, you can give it for wash. So that facility also exists. So that laundry and all you can spend. Apart from that, things are very expensive, as you climb higher. So a cup of coffee itself would cost about $800 to $1,000. So it depends on you how much uh, you want to spend, and then Wi-Fi and mobile charging and all that, those things also,
So how
as I
much would
mentioned.
that cost per night, for example?
For See, it starts with about $400 for charging a phone to start with, and then as you climb higher, it becomes 800,000 bucks also. So as you climb higher, things become expensive there.
Okay, and Wi-Fi?
Wi-Fi again would be about so for Dingboche, I think they charge for 2 days about 800 or 1,000 rupees. Again, so there's a card also which is there, which you can use at all the tea
The
houses.
Everest Link card, right? The Everest
Yeah,
Link.
yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
Right.
So I think they also charge about 2,000 rupees for 1 GB or for 24 hours. They have different packages which are available.
Okay.
Romal had one more question. So for people coming from, say, US, not India, at Kathmandu, we should be able to exchange dollars for Nepali currency?
Oh yes, you can. All the
Okay.
currencies they accept. No
Okay.
problem. In fact, what we do is, since the time is less and all, we at times call the agent, the currency exchange guy to the hotel itself, and he can get it done there rather than, looking out. So all currencies can be exchanged. That's not a problem.
So we should then just plan based on your guidance about 25 to 40,000 Nepali currency
No,
per
rupees,
person.
INR.
Yeah,
INR?
INR 20 to 25K. Yeah, about 30K in Nepali.
Can I
Thank
ask
you.
a can I ask a question?
Yeah, ma'am,
So
please.
on the list that Rajat shared, there was this solar charger that one could rent out. Does it make sense to rent the solar charger?
Ma'am, there are two major drawbacks for solar charger. One is
Um,
that it's a bit bulky, right? So,
Okay.
and you'll have to carry that, since you'll be using it. Other thing is solar charger requires a direct sunlight. So, in case it's hanging on the backpack and you're on the move, in case the direct sunlight is not falling on the solar charger, then it'll not be that effective. So, generally, solar chargers would be more applicable to places wherein there's no other option. In this case, every tea house you go, you can have a option of getting the phone charged or the battery bank charged. But then something like Denali, wherein you don't have any facility whatsoever, so solar chargers are the only way out, right? So it's more applicable there. But then yes, if you still want, that option is available.
Would you suggest that we carry a power bank?
Yeah, definitely. We also carry power banks because power banks are, you know, in case you are on the move, your phone is getting discharged time and again, because we need to understand as we climb higher, the temperatures dip, and at lower temperatures, the mobile would hold charge for a lesser duration, right? So you
Right.
need power banks to keep the phones and all charged because you want to keep the memories uh, for long, and similarly for GoPro and other items as well. So it's important to carry battery banks. Like we carry about 2 to 3 battery banks just to make sure that we are not losing out on content.
Okay. Thanks.
one more
Well,
question.
yeah,
May,
please.
may I ask? Okay.
Yeah,
I've not still bought my shoes because I'm not sure which size I should buy. Should it be one size bigger?
see,
Because
shoes, the thing is that
in stock.
once you're buying, it's always recommended you try it out. And how you check it is that once you go to the showroom for buying, don't just go there, check and buy. Make sure you're wearing them for at least half an hour, walking in them. And once you walked, there are two things which you need to observe. One is your heel should not be moving up, and
What do you
once you're
mean by that?
walking,
What do you mean by that?
what I mean is that if this is the shoe, if your heel is getting, is getting raised once you're walking, that means it's too loose, right?
Mm,
If it is sticking onto the base,
base.
then that's the right size, right? Having said that, make sure you're wearing the same socks which you're going to use for the climb. It should not be you're wearing a thin socks and then once you're climbing, you're wearing a thicker one. So that becomes a problem. Other thing is your toes should not be too restricted. Make sure it's a wide toe shoe and your fingers should be able to move around inside the shoe. Because if they're too tight, then what happens once you're on the climb as well after 10 days, because it's a 15
Well
day,
up.
12-day trek, after 7 to 8 days, your feet also become swollen. So it's advisable to have at least 0.5 size bigger shoe. And the way I said, your heel should not be raising up once you're walking, and you should have enough space for the toes to wriggle once you're wearing the shoe.
I was given to understand that the first few days is not as cold as it gets when we are closer to Gorakshep. So we need two sets of socks, I'm assuming, the cotton one and the woolen one. So
Yeah,
the
you're right.
first few days I'm scared of blisters if the shoes are slightly, I mean, I don't know whether I should be walking with woolen socks.
See, the only way to avoid blisters is, one is to get used to the
Yeah.
shoes which you're going to buy. So don't delay it, I would recommend. Other is there are, the anti-blister socks also which are available. I'm not sure how
Okay.
effective they are. I've just
Good to
seen
know.
it in the market. I don't know if they're effective or not. Uh, but then even if you get blisters, it's okay, right? There's so many other things to bother about rather than the blisters. So even if they happen, let it happen. It's okay.
Okay. Which brands? Because this is the one place I'm really like not sure about and hesitating to buy. Which brands of shoes would you recommend?
See, if you're going to be there for long term, then
Yes, long term.
unfortunately, in no Indian brands are good enough for trekking. We don't use any of these. What we would recommend is, La Sportiva is a good brand. Merrell
Sorry,
is a
which
good
one? I
brand.
didn't hear that. Sorry.
It's La Sportiva,
Yeah.
LASPORTIVA, La Sportiva.
Okay.
Uh, we'll mention in the group. You can either DM or
Okay.
we'll mention. Yeah, Rachit has mentioned already. La Sportiva is a good brand. Then other brands would be Solomon, then Merrill, and North Face is again a decent one. So there are a lot of brands which are there. Keen is again okay, but
Keen.
unfortunately, you KEEN.
Okay.
But none of these brands have an outlet in India. And uh,
I'm in
in
Singapore.
Singapore, if you're there, then there are a lot of good options. I'll share the list with you.
Please do
I'm
that.
sure you'll find. In
I'm
case you
very
want,
hesitant to buy till such time I'm 100% sure it's the right one because I don't want to make a mistake.
yeah, sure. So we'll share you. In fact, if you want, we'll connect you to a few of our friends there who climb from Singapore.
I
They'll be
would
happy to guide you
greatly
as well.
appreciate that. I am been going from pillar to post trying to buy the right things and I'm just not so sure. I'd really appreciate knowing someone who's done it from here.
Yeah, sure. We'll do that.
Thank you.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah, please.
Regarding the trekking poles, so at Decathlon, I see 3-4 varieties. What would you recommend?
Generally, trekking poles is not something which is too complicated because you can. It's just a Everest Base Camp Trek. So any trek pole which is sturdy should be fine. Otherwise, there are a lot of fancy options like carbon ones which are lighter, more easy to carry. Then there are shock absorber and all, which we don't find any
No benefit.
value personally. Yeah.
Okay,
So
so a regular one is should do.
yeah, a regular one which is kind of bit rugged should be fine. A medium one decathlon is a very basic one. Apart
Yeah.
from that, all other are fine.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
You're welcome.
So when do we start applying for a visa or we don't apply and just get it as we land?
Personally, we don't. I mean, I've never taken a visa before, so you can just land and then you can take it. Should not be a problem.
No, I don't have an Indian passport.
Still, I mean, Indians as such don't need visa, but then non-Indian passport holders, they just land and then you can take the visa. It doesn't take much of your
Nothing
time.
to be done before that.
Yeah.
And even if you arrive, say, I'm doing the 22nd April one. So even if you arrive, say, on the 19th or the 20th, will there be someone from Boots and Crampons in Kathmandu at that point?
No, I don't think so. They'll be
Okay.
there, but then they'll be on the trek or somewhere. No, not in Kathmandu.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. So visa, we just have to do on our own at immigration when we arrive.
Yes, you're right.
Okay.
Do you know approximately how long it takes with those lines at the airport for getting the visa?
It shouldn't take much time. Generally we have seen it will take about 15 to 20 minutes, not more than that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Romil, Raghav again. For people who are not taking porters, what do we need to carry? Climbing boots, crampons, and all. Should we have to carry, or you will get that? What is the plan there? Sleeping bag.
This is you're talking about after EBC, right? Only
After
the Lobuche.
after EBC, yeah. So because my bag will be full, what is that you are going to ask us to carry in case we have to carry anything?
See, once you reach Lobuche village after doing EBC, after that till base camp and till summit camp, you'll have to carry everything. In case you
That's
want, we can have. Yeah, sorry, you were saying
we
something.
carry my backpack. I'll carry. It's just that if
Right.
you are giving me sleeping bag or if you are giving me climbing boots, crampons to be carried, that I need to prepare for that. That is what I'm asking. Anything that you are going to provide post? EBC?
No, whatever rental stuff is there that you're supposed to carry
From where? From where? That is what.
from Lobuche onwards. See, till Lobuche you'll have porters, for the whole EBC thing.
Okay.
You got the point? See, whenever till the time you're there on the Everest Base Camp and you come back to Lobuche, porters are there. You hand over everything to them, right? In case your whatever things are there after Lobuche village, then till the time you reach base camp and summit camp, you're supposed to carry your crampons, your harness, your everything, climbing boots and all. In case you want, then we can have porters between 1 or 2 people, and those can carry for you till the base camp or
So this
summit camp.
porter is part of the package, you're saying? Sorry.
No, these porters are separate.
Okay.
Porters are only going to be there till the Lobuche village. After that, till
Understood.
base
Which,
camp and summit camp
the
is
one which
separate.
is included in the package.
Yes, you're right.
Okay. Understood. Understood. Thanks.
You're welcome.
So again, the climbing boots, is that something again that we will rent, or you will
Yes.
provide that? That also we'll have to rent it there. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay, including all the other equipments, we will have to rent the climbing boots also.
Yes, you're right.
Okay. So we have to carry a bigger day pack because from Lobuche to Lobuche Base Camp and Summit and all that, it just can't fit into a regular day pack.
Yes, you're right.
Okay.
30-liter backpack would suffice, right? From Lobuche
30,
onwards.
30 maybe less, right?
Yeah.
Because you need
30 is
to have sleeping bag, a heavy down jacket, a bigger one,
okay.
and a helmet and all that stuff. So I think 55 would be ideal.
So basically,
50
whatever,
to 60.
so there will be
Sorry.
no porters there. So whatever we would have handed over to the porters from Lobuche, we'll have to take that backpack. So we can't put all that in our duffel bag. We still have to think of carrying the 70-liter backpack from Lobuche, isn't it?
See, from Lobuche, whatever is mandatory for the climb, you'll only carry that. Rest of the stuff stays there at Lobuche.
Stays.
And
Okay,
that
got it.
yeah, and that portion also, in case you feel that crampons, boots, and all is too much for carrying, then we can hire and the porters, but that's separate. In case
Okay, yeah.
people
So
want.
okay. So we could just carry whatever we need for the next 2-3 days.
Absolutely.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Anything else anyone wants to ask?
Yes, one more question. So, do you have a Diamox protocol for the trek?
As a company policy, we don't recommend taking Diamox. Having said that, we are not against it. So in case people who have had issues earlier or they want to take Diamox, we don't. We don't mind people taking it. It's up to you to decide. But if somebody asked me that we should be taking Diamox, I would not recommend that. We want a normal process normally happening. If it works fine, I think. We generally don't take, and nor do we recommend.
So you mean to say in all your treks, generally people don't take Diamox and they are okay? People haven't faced altitude sickness?
What I am mentioning is that we don't recommend it. In case people still want to take it, it's up to them.
No, I
But yeah,
got that.
more.
I
Yeah.
got that. But I'm saying, what has been your experience that people have been fine with that 2 day of acclimatization and they have
Yes.
not needed?
Yes.
Okay.
Any special instruction or care for children, Romel, from a medicine standpoint? You will have it, and also about gear. I don't think we will need micro spikes or anything, right? For EBC, just that shoe size will be kid size.
Yeah, so we have never used micro spikes in any of our EBC climbs, so not required. Even if there's fresh snowfall, so that time we don't need micro spikes as such. So it's not needed. With kids, again, we've never had any issues with the kids. Generally, kids are better to acclimatize. Only thing with kids is that they get bored because it's a long monotonous climb and all. But generally, if they have company, they really have a good time, enjoy. I
They'll
mean,
have your
having fun.
music. They'll have your music on the way.
Yeah, yeah, that's a different thing. So people who are doing Lobuche, just make sure that whenever you get an opportunity, make sure you get some hands-on on use of Jumar and uh, this thing Descender, because that's one thing generally possible. Other fitness and all people are able to do it. So whenever you get an opportunity to do it, again make sure your gloves and all are in good shape and you are able to handle Jumar with that, because there's always a dichotomy between wearing heavy gloves and then operating Jumar and carabiner with that. So that becomes a bit of a challenge. Mm, Otherwise, also, uh, just remember things will go wrong, that as happens in mountains, but then just stay calm and trust the team. It's a team effort at the end, these friends who are there, whom we don't know as of now, are going to be lifelong friends after the climb. So make sure you have a good bonding with all of them after 1 or 2 days, generally, and that happens. And good part on EBC is it's a very safe trek. See, every place where you stay, you'll have at least one helipad. At times, at the same village, you'll have 2 to 3 helipads. So there's nothing to panic. Of late, the problem, as I was mentioning earlier, also is the flight from Lukla to Ramechhap and back. So that becomes quite a challenge. And like last time, we had to wait for 3 days because we couldn't get a flight. The weather was not supporting. So that becomes quite a concern. Some people, that thing should not set in. If it happens, whether nobody has a control. If it is bad, it's bad. So just maintain calm. The rest we are there to take care of things, so not a worry. Gear wise, don't carry anything extra. There's no point carrying, 3 thermals or extra gears. Make sure you have all the required stuff, but then, good quality stuff and bare minimum, because there's no point. Similarly, there's no point carrying uh, let's say a big bottle of shampoo or something, because it's just, you know, short trek 10 to 12 days for EBC and all. So make sure you share the things and don't have a lot of redundancy as regards the uh, things you're carrying. Anything else which I missed out, Rachit? Bharat, if you feel you need to add something, please go ahead.
So we can always say that there will be no bath.
Yeah, that I thought is understood. But yeah, bathing and all for next. I mean, once the trek starts, the Kathmandu is the safe place to take bath and all. We have had issues wherein people have fallen sick en route once taking bath and all. Since the stakes are high, avoid that. Yeah, good point, Rajat. Bharat, anything?
This is Mythili.
Rajat?
Since there is no bath, do we take like wipes, like body wipes and stuff like that, that usually people take for uh, backcountry treks or not?
And that's entirely up to you. Generally, we are okay staying dirty. So,
Okay.
I mean, that's fine.
Okay,
Up to you.
sounds good. Least of our
Yeah,
worries, huh? Okay.
exactly. There's so many other things to think about
Okay. Okay.
than this.
Okay. Can I um just for my clarity, can we go back to the point when you talked about the tent versus the tea houses? So till we reach the Everest base, the entire Everest base camp is tea houses, right? Did I understand that correctly?
Yes, you're right.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Just want to go back to the backpack. So a 55-liter backpack should be fine from the flight from Kathmandu to Lukla.
Yes, should be fine.
Okay.
See, Kathmandu, Lukla, they are not very particular about the size. They're particular only about the weight. So that's the only thing. And in case the weight is more, they charge extra for it. That's about it. It's not that they don't allow, just that you'll have to cater for that extra part. That's all. Rest is fine. They are pretty okay with that.
Will you be sending the links again for the, you had sent a couple of links for the shoes and for the backpacks, and for the day backpack, the one that the 30 liter that we were talking about, is that something that we could rent?
Backpack rental option won't be there, but that's a good point. What we have observed is that people initially, once you're at home and you try a laptop bag, it looks okay. But once you're on the trek, make sure you have a trek specific backpack. Other backpacks will be okay for, day 1 and 2, but then it's a long trek, 12 days. So make sure your backpack is comfortable, fits well, and it's a trek specific backpack, not any journal backpack which people might use for shopping and all. I've also made that mistake earlier, but then uh, make sure it's a specific backpack which is meant for trekking or expeditions.
And that's not something we can rent, right? We have to get our own.
Yes.
Got it. And you had sent links for that as well. Would you be able to send that again, or?
Ma'am, if you want to buy, since you're in Singapore, you have a good option. There's this brand called Hyperlight. Once you buy it for lifelong, you'll not even think about buying anything else. I use the same, and we strongly recommend that. We'll share the link with you,
Okay.
and you'll that is available in Singapore.
Okay, thank
I got a Camelback. You think that's okay?
Camelback is again a great brand. Yeah, that's a good point. In case you want to use a hydration bag, it makes sense to use for the Everest Base Camp part of it. Only we need to understand is that it's not a filtered water system, right? So you need to filter the water, then put it in the backpack, the hydration bag.
I'm going to
So
buy a UV stick.
yeah, so if that fits on a bottle and then you are able to transfer, I think that's a good idea because you don't because then it becomes much easier to drink, and hydration obviously is very, very important on the mountains. So that if you have a hydration bag, I think that's a good one. Only thing is it should be able to, store other things as well. Maybe your like things, your a fleece jacket or
30 liter. I got a 30 liter.
I think it should work. That's a good idea.
Mhm. Thanks.
Romil, would you be able to send us the price list for all the rentals? So that way we can see, how much we need to carry, how much cash we need to carry, and we'll understand what we need to exchange.
Yeah, sure. Let me figure it out. I'll be able to do that.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Anyone wants to ask anything? You can ask now. Right. In case no more questions, we'll call it off. But feel free, as I mentioned earlier, you have WhatsApp groups. You can always ask any questions which come to your mind, and we'll be happy to answer that. Train well. That's very important because that's the only thing which we want from you. That if you trained well, you'll have a good experience. Otherwise, it becomes more of a drag. Finishing, reaching the base camp and all. But then, if you've trained well, you have a good experience, and that's always good. So thank you so much, guys, for your time. Uh, and in case more questions, we'll be happy to answer. All the best. Have a great weekend. And
Thank you
Rachit,
so
yeah,
much.
sorry, I forgot. Rachit, please share
Yeah.
the list of medicines, everybody's supposed to carry. in the kit.
Sure, I'll do that right
Yeah.
away.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much, guys. Have a great
Thanks.
weekend. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.